I heard there was rumors, people talking that you guys don't want a rehydration clause in the event if the fight does happen. Do you guys not want one?
Don't give a damn about that. You can only get so big. To get too big, then that's on him.
Yeah, people want to see that fight, and maybe they see that fight. We don't know yet, right? But maybe they see that fight, and I'm always open to good fights,
Terence Crawford has called out Canelo Alvarez for insisting on a rehydration clause for their fight. Meanwhile, Bernie Thaw Boxer from Team Crawford revealed in an interview that the fight between Crawford and Canelo is set for September 13th. Although it hasn't been officially confirmed yet, Bernie spilled the beans. Crawford is gearing up to move up to 168 lbs to challenge Canelo for his trio of super middleweight titles.
To 168, I wouldn't have to lose any weight. I wouldn't have to strain my body. I can just focus on getting stronger and getting sharper and just work on the things that I need to work on to fight a guy of that size.
You're on an 11-fight knockout streak. Is it important to you to continue that, or you just kind of take this fight as it happens?
I just take the fights how it happens. If the knockout come, it come. If it don't, I'm just looking at securing the victory at the end of the day. I never go in a fight looking for the knockout, but if it's there, I'm definitely going to take it.
Prediction on this one?
Like always, a victory.
All right, we'll see how it happens on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Terence Crawford, Israel Madrimov, Saturday from BMO Stadium here in Los Angeles. Champ, always good to see you. Good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Boxing fans were already aware that Crawford and Canelo were on a collision course for September, with leaks surfacing weeks ago. However, this marks the first time someone from their camps has confirmed it. Addressing criticism that Crawford should establish himself at 168 lbs before taking on Canelo, he dismissed the idea outright, simply asking, why? He then laid out Crawford's incredible resume: two-time undisputed champion, 3-division unified titleist, and a 4-division world champion. However, he notably left out the level of opponents Crawford had to face to win those belts, fighters largely seen as beatable. It's on, baby! September 13th. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Like I said, Crawford versus Canelo. Yeah, it's confirmed. Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around, said Bernie Thaw Boxer in an interview with Fight Hype regarding the mega fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Team Crawford is standing tall, pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the super middleweight champion, said Bernie on social media. Most fans are excited about the fight rather than criticizing it. Despite Crawford's age, lack of size, power, and experience at 168 lbs, many believe he can pull it off. Some even think he's unbeatable, just like David Benavidez's die-hard supporters who have watched him dominate for so long that the idea of him losing to Canelo seems unthinkable. But looking at Crawford's 17-year career tells a different story. His success isn't just about skill, it's also about the level of competition he's faced. And frankly, he hasn't been tested by elite opposition. When he moved up to 154 lbs against Israel Madrimov last August, his performance was underwhelming, not his usual sharpness. Though he won by unanimous decision, the fight was closer than expected, with judges scoring it 115-113, 116-112, and 115-113. Those who know Brian "Bomac" McIntyre will have little doubt that this fight is heavily on his mind. While it's not yet official, speculation is growing that his star pupil, Terence Crawford, could face Canelo Alvarez as early as September. As expected, this historic showdown has sparked endless rumors and debates, but one topic remains at the center of it all: the rehydration clause. A rehydration clause is a rule that limits how much weight a fighter can gain after weigh-in. The concern likely comes from the massive size difference between Crawford and Alvarez. Before moving up to 154 lbs, the southpaw from Nebraska was fighting nearly 3 divisions below Canelo. But in true Bomac fashion, he dismissed the concern without a second thought. Ricky Filati of Ring Magazine recently recalled a conversation with Bomac at a gym in Las Vegas. When asked if the team was against having a rehydration clause, McIntyre made it clear he didn't care how much weight an opponent gained after the weigh-in. In his view, if a fighter overdid it and became slow or sluggish, that was their problem, not his or Crawford's. He made it clear, it's entirely on the opponent if their size becomes a disadvantage.
On him.
So do you like Terrence? You like Terrence's chances even without a
I mean, I love Terrence's chances when it first came out of his mouth. He said he wanted to fight me.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you guys have zero issues with.
I have no issue with it.
No issues.
Terrence ain't got an issue with it. I ain't got an issue.
The reporter continued pressing, asking whether Brian McIntyre still believed Crawford could secure victory without any rehydration limit. Without hesitation, Bomac reaffirmed his unwavering faith in Crawford, insisting that weight restrictions wouldn't change the outcome. Filati expressed some doubts, pointing out that in the past, fighters facing larger opponents often insisted on a rehydration clause. In response, McIntyre dismissed the idea as nonsense. He argued that the concept of a rehydration clause was ridiculous, criticizing the notion of limiting how much weight a fighter could gain after weigh-in. For McIntyre, once the weigh-in is done, it's entirely up to the fighter to manage their weight however they choose. He emphasized that fighters should simply step into the ring and fight like true warriors, especially since they willingly agreed to the bout.
Because, in the past, most guys, when they're fighting bigger guys like that, that's going to be the first thing that they want.
That's some pussy shit. That's some weak shit. Oh, you can't come in this much and shit. Man, get the fuck out of here. It's boxing. You got on the scale, I made the weight, regardless when I come back ass. Hey, you accepted the fight, let's get in there and fight like men. Simple as that.
Appreciate you, Bomac. Thanks for the time, man.
The confusion likely began after the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight, where the term rehydration clause became a hot topic. Now it's crucial to clear up the issue and improve communication moving forward to avoid any further misunderstandings. To provide some context, Mike Kopp-Pinger recently highlighted that official contracts have not yet been signed. However, there's a strong chance that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will face off over Mexican independence, day weekend in September, assuming all details are finalized. And as Crawford has consistently stated, the fight will take place at 168 lbs with no rehydration clause, according to ESPN's Boxing Insider. For boxing fans, this bout is shaping up to be one of the biggest showdowns of 2025, a high-stakes clash between two of today's elite fighters to determine who truly deserves the title of the sport's best pound-for-pound contender. Crawford is expected to move up from light middleweight to super middleweight to take on Canelo in what promises to be a historic spectacle. In an interview with IFL TV, Eddie Hearn acknowledged that Crawford was at a major disadvantage in what would be a battle between two generational greats. It's a massive spectacle. Crawford is essentially jumping 3 weight classes. He's already moved up once and has done it before. I think he's at a physical disadvantage, but he's an exceptional pound-for-pound fighter. It's two legends going head-to-head, said Hearn. Another major talking point leading up to this fight will be the rehydration clause. Hearn revealed that Canelo would have walked away from this fight if such a clause had been included. When asked why Crawford hasn't pushed for a rehydration limit, Hearn simply stated, Canelo would never agree to it. Terence Crawford has always embraced the philosophy that boxing is about relentless challenge and evolution. Whether it's adjusting to a heavier weight class or taking on bigger opponents, he believes this is what defines greatness. That's why he's willing to jump 2 more divisions to face fellow 4-division champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. With the fight expected to be officially announced soon, Crawford spoke to Boxing Scene in an exclusive interview Friday at the Cosmopolitan after attending his gym buddy Steven Nelson's weigh-in for his main event against Alvarez's WBO number 1 ranked opponent, Diego Pacheco. That's what great fighters do, test themselves against all odds, Crawford said. With an impressive 41-0 record, Crawford has already conquered the welterweight division as an undisputed champion. Now he's ready for his biggest challenge yet.
Take the fights how it happens. If the knockout come, it come. If it don't, I'm just looking at securing the victory at the end of the day. I never go in a fight looking for the knockout, but if it's there, I'm definitely going to take it.
Prediction on this one?
Like always, a victory.
All right, we'll see how it happens on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Terence Crawford, Israel Madrimov, Saturday from BMO Stadium here in Los Angeles. Champ, always good to see you. Good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Saudi power player Turki Al-Sheikh has invested heavily in showing his respect and admiration for Terence Crawford, elevating him to the main event for Al-Sheikh's first ever U.S. boxing show in August. Despite some friction with Alvarez, Al-Sheikh has been working relentlessly to make this highly anticipated fight a reality. "I'm definitely grateful for what Turki has done for boxing," Crawford said. "He's making the biggest. Fights happen and putting together matchups that fans actually want to see. He's a big fan himself, and he's backing the sport with real investment. I'm happy with the way things are going and excited about what's coming." Back in 2023, Canelo Alvarez made headlines by downplaying Crawford's record, claiming he had only beaten one truly great fighter. This statement caught Crawford's fans off guard. At the time, it seemed like Canelo had no interest in the fight. Now, nearly a year and a half later, the showdown is on the horizon. And as negotiations heat up, old remarks are resurfacing. Recently, a clip from that 2023 interview reappeared, sparking fresh debates. Terence Crawford's sister, Letitia Crawford, was quick to respond on social media, brushing off Canelo's words. "They all sing the same song," she posted on X. However, in a recent interview with Ring magazine, Canelo appeared to clarify his stance. Speaking with ESPN's Mike Kopp-Pinger, he acknowledged the growing anticipation for the fight. While some critics argue that if Canelo beats Crawford, people will attribute the win to the weight difference, Canelo isn't bothered. He believes all the debate is only adding to the hype, making fans even more eager to see the fight happen. Canelo admitted that fans want to see this matchup, even hinting that it might happen. "Maybe people will get to see it," the 34-year-old said. He also praised Crawford's skills, acknowledging his exceptional abilities. While he didn't commit to the fight fully, he left the door open saying, "We might see that battle. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know yet."
Don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter. He's really with really good abilities and everything. And maybe we will see that fight. Maybe. We don't know yet.
Canelo, look, something you said to me a while ago really resonated. You said basically, if somebody's going to disrespect me, I don't want to punish them in the ring and beat them up and say, "Hey, here's, all this money," because everyone always makes their career high payday facing you, right?
Yeah.
6'2" fighter also explained why he prefers facing Terence Crawford over David Benavidez. According to Canelo, he turned down the Benavidez fight due to what he saw as disrespect from Benavidez and his father. Agreeing to the fight, he said, would have meant giving the 28-year-old the biggest payday of his career, something Canelo wasn't interested in doing. Canelo made it clear that at this stage in his career, he's willing to fight any top champion. However, he dislikes how certain fighters go about calling him out, insisting that these challenges don't deserve financial rewards. Now, as a proven superstar, he feels he has earned the right to choose his own fights. He also suggested that he didn't appreciate the way Crawford approached him for a fight, but despite feeling disrespected, he hasn't ruled it out completely. "Like I said, you never know. Maybe one day I wake up and decide I want to fight that guy," Canelo admitted. Right now, a fight between Canelo and Benavidez seems unlikely, as Benavidez is preparing to take on David Morrell and plans to stay at 175 lbs. In the meantime, fans are hoping that Canelo and Crawford can finalize their deal, bringing one of the most anticipated fights of the year to life. Canelo seems well aware of the buzz surrounding his previous comments, but he doesn't seem to care. He has repeatedly stated that he wants to fight the best, and that at this point, he can do whatever he wants. According to ESPN's Mike Kopp-Pinger, the highly anticipated Canelo vs. Crawford fight is nearing completion. Meanwhile, legendary promoter Bob Arum isn't ruling out the possibility of Crawford pulling off a major upset. Arum, who promoted Crawford's fights before their split in 2021, believes the Omaha native's ability to switch stances could create problems for Canelo. Despite the significant weight jump, Arum sees Crawford's skill set as a real threat. "I wouldn't count Crawford out in any fight," Arum told Fight Hype. "He's a great boxer-puncher and completely ambidextrous. He drives his opponents crazy. They train to fight a right-hander and end up facing a southpaw." Crawford recently became a 4-division world champion, claiming the WBA super welterweight title with a points victory over Israel Madrimov. As for Canelo, his next move remains uncertain. While he traditionally fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, there's speculation about whether he'll step into the ring this May. One potential opponent is IBF champion William Skull. If Canelo fights, before taking on Crawford, a victory would secure his status as the undisputed super middleweight champion once again.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkaraj know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp? When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in camp. Training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March, yeah.
With the massive last crescendo card from Riyadh season shaping up to be one of the most anticipated boxing events of the year, the next 12 months promise to be an exciting period for the sport. The event will feature 3 World Championship bouts, adding even more excitement to the night. However, outside of that card, another potential matchup is gaining momentum: Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Speculation surrounding the fight intensified after Alvarez and Crawford recently met with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in London. If this bout materializes, it will undoubtedly captivate fight fans worldwide. However, the next big question is the location. With Saudi Arabia emerging as boxing's new global hub, many expect the fight to take place in Riyadh. But according to Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn, who has worked with Alvarez in the past, the fight would be most effective in only one location: the United States. Speaking to DAZN News, Hearn said, "Canelo versus Crawford only works for me in America. It's just a matter of whether Al-Sheikh wants to be involved in that process. Like Ben Eubank in England, he will be involved in getting it made, but I'm not sure Canelo Crawford happens in Saudi, or even at all. I don't see many options for Canelo at the moment." In 2024, Crawford has fought just once, securing a victory over Israel Madrimov to claim his 4th world title across 4 different weight classes. Meanwhile, Alvarez added 2 more wins to his record. According to reports, a September bout for Alvarez's undisputed super middleweight titles is getting closer to reality. Crawford, the reigning WBA super welterweight champion, will be moving up 2 divisions to challenge the Mexican star. And reportedly, he is not requesting a rehydration clause. The significant weight difference between the two is a major reason why Mexican boxing legend Julio Cesar Chavez believes Canelo will win by knockout. Speaking to ES News, Chavez predicted, "Canelo is very strong. He carries a lot of weight. He will knock Crawford out in 6 rounds. Crawford is a great fighter, but weight classes exist for a reason." Despite not fighting since his victory over Madrimov in August, Crawford is not considering an interim fight, according to Boxing Scene. The 37-year-old is focused solely on moving up in weight and challenging Canelo, aiming to become a 5-division world champion. In boxing, reaching the top often means having the power to dictate terms. Canelo Alvarez, once the undisputed super middleweight champion, is reportedly closing in on a mega fight with former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford. Meanwhile, David Benavidez, who was once Canelo's WBC mandatory challenger, remains on the sidelines without a clear path forward. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Benavidez's father, Jose Benavidez Sr., weighed in on the potential matchup, which is rumored to take place in September in Las Vegas. "My only comment? I would be embarrassed to ask for that fight before David," he said. It's worth noting that Canelo previously asked for $200 million to fight Benavidez, a demand that frustrated many fans. Benavidez Sr. believes both his son and Canelo would simply be too much for Crawford. He dismissed the fight, saying, "I'm not interested. I don't think it's a fair fight. Canelo is just too big for Crawford." But what does David Benavidez himself think? In a December interview with Shazidal, Benavidez shared his perspective on the potential Canelo-Crawford showdown. He praised Crawford's technical abilities, but questioned whether his skills would translate to higher weight classes. "Crawford is one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen. But when he moved up to 154, he didn't have the same power he had at 147. And now he has to go up 2 more weight classes. He's a special fighter, but weight classes exist for a reason. I'd give Canelo the edge. Even heavyweight boxing legend Mike Tyson is skeptical about the matchup. Speaking on his Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast, he admitted he doesn't like the fight due to the weight disparity. "I don't like that fight. Too much weight for Crawford," Tyson said. Crawford's last opponent gave him a tough fight, just because he was bigger and awkward. He shouldn't have even fought that guy. Tyson isn't alone in his concerns. Benavidez Sr, who fought Crawford in 2019 and was knocked out in the 9th round, echoed similar doubts. In a video posted by boxing analyst Dan the Boxing Man on X, Kavaliauskas was asked how he thought Crawford would fare against Canelo. "I hope they don't make that fight. I don't think it's a good idea for Crawford to move up and fight Canelo. Canelo is just too big, too strong," he responded. At first, boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult agreed with Tyson and Kavaliauskas, doubting Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo's power. However, his opinion hasn't evolved. In a follow-up video, he argued that Crawford could win by exploiting Canelo's weaknesses, particularly his struggles against fighters with superior footwork. Showbiz referenced Canelo's losses to Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, both of whom used movement and ring IQ to neutralize the Mexican star's power. He suggested that Crawford could adopt a similar strategy by utilizing a stiff jab, smart footwork, and controlling the distance. As anticipation builds for this potential clash, opinions remain divided. Fans and analysts continue to debate whether Crawford has the skill to overcome Canelo's size advantage, or whether the weight disparity will simply be too much. For now, boxing enthusiasts are eagerly waiting for an official announcement that could set up one of the biggest fights of the year.
Check out the projected odds that came out. One of the odds projectors say Canelo is opening up as the favorite, -130. Crawford is +100. That's damn near 50-50. Another one says Canelo Alvarez is the favorite, -185. Crawford is the underdog, only +55. Let me tell you something. If those are the odds on my booking come day one, I'm max betting Canelo Alvarez. I could give a damn. If y'all mean to tell me that y'all think it's 50-50, I'ma empty my account on Canelo Alvarez. I don't have to bet KO, none of that shit. If y'all think it's that close, I'ma empty my account. $30,000, I can give a shit. I'm about to come up. I was gonna bet on Crawford thinking he'd be the huge underdog. Y'all got it that narrow?
That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest updates.